Hello everybody, this is Andy, and welcome to episode 19 of Omnifactory, and here we are in the basement. It's a little small right now, but it's going to expand, and this is where we're going to be putting a lot of our IV and LuV stuff. So, let me show you where this is. It's directly below the pad that we have going to our upstairs and to our distillery section. So it's pretty central, and we should have no issues with chunk loading it because it's very comfortably within our chunk loading range. That's part of the reason why I want to go down instead of continuing to go out, because we don't have to claim more chunks, and I'm starting to reach my chunk claiming limit. So as you can see, 60 out of 64. Let's start moving into the ground instead of out. I was going to say the first step today is to set up a blast furnace so we can start blasting draconium, which is made with it's made pretty simply from stuff that we already have. I can either choose to simulate some ender dragons or do this, and I think I'm going to do this because we have essentially infinite nitrodiesel and infinite blazing pyrotheum, so it should be no issue. Manulin is just a little bit of ardite, a little bit of cobalt, a little bit of mana dust, everything that we have. The main problem that we have is it's blasted at 6800 Kelvin, which is higher than HSSG, which we made last time. This will be used for some things down the line, but not right now. And we need this Naquata coil blocks. It shouldn't be that difficult to make, but we're going to need to get the Naquata dust, which comes from a medium microverse projector. I could also get Naquata ore, but we can't buy it, so I think this is the way I'm going to go. Sending the Tier 5 microminer off on this mission requires stabilized plutonium, which comes from plutonium-244, which is made in a fusion reactor with uranium-238 and helium-16. I have uranium-238, I have helium, and we can, or I guess it uses any type of helium? No, I was looking at the mill buckets. We have both of these things is what I'm trying to say, and we can make plutonium. We just need to make a fusion reactor Mark 1, and this thing is quite the beast. I don't know if you can, the in-game preview isn't super hot, so we're falling into a little bit of a rabbit hole, but we're going to need to make an assembly line. That was where I wanted to go with this episode anyways, so assembly line first. Crafting these assembly line casings is actually one of the only times that the fact that I haven't put acceleration cards in my assemblers has bit me in the butt. These annealed copper wires, the 16x ones, which are required for these guys, I think, are the slowest things to craft. However, it's almost done, and my assembly line casings should just about now be finished once they get through the assembler. They might take a while in the assembler. Oh, they're done. Perfect. Now I should have everything in my inventory that we need to create an assembly line. As you can see, the quest is complete. Let me go ahead and see if I can assemble this assembly line. As I'm in the process of putting this thing together, let me share with you a little fun thing that I figured out. As you can hear, there is no jetpack sound. I still have sounds. As you can see, my legs just broke, apparently. However, if I go into my music and sounds, if you turn player sounds all the way down and then turn them back on, the jetpack sound just disappears. I learned that recently, I think from Jimmy Cow. I don't remember which video it was, but it was one of his, and his jetpack was annoying him, and he turned it off, and it's very helpful. And here we go. After a little bit more tinkering than I thought I would need to do, it appears as though the structure has formed, and it's running at ZPM because I gave it 2 LuV energy input hatches. So it's going to run super fast, hopefully, and destroy all of my power. I can transfer that much power I can transfer, I think, exactly that much power with my Signalum energy conduits, right? These things... Yeah, I think it's exactly 1 amp of ZPM is transferred with the Signalum energy conduits. So all the power in my base is going to go towards this for like 20 seconds at a time. This thing is not hard to build up. You just need to follow the thing in here. It does a very good job at telling you what you need to do. I, for some reason, just forgot to put the great machine casings on. So, yeah. Also, I went for a full-size assembling machine, so it is 16 long, which means it should, in theory, be able to handle all of the recipes in the game as long as I give it the right components. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with this guy. So the first thing we want to do is make the singularity compressor. This thing is the only thing that can process the iridium heavy plating which we need for the tier 5 microminer, which is, if you remember, the step that we're trying to go for, because we need to get Naquata to get the coils that we need to blast Manulin into Draconium. While I'm crafting some things up, let me show you something else that I changed since last time as well. I made this a little bit cleaner, so it's all, on the same ME network. I don't have any things shoved and tangled all up out here, which is cool. However, this package, or the unpackager, can shove into multiple different package crafters, and it shoves the entire recipe at once, so you won't have to worry about some items going into here, some into here, some into here. It shoves the entire recipe into the package crafter all at one time, so that's kind of nice, which means you can put 3 of these around here and not have to worry. So now our crafting with the packaged auto is 3 times as fast, and I should have some of these package recipe holders. That's the thing that I was waiting for. I also added a travel anchor down here so we can get here faster. The one thing that I want to do is take 2 of these and use them to make, the LuV things. Like I said, I think the singularity compressor is the next step, which means we need to make 2 of these. I'm going to need to encode recipes to make all of these things, as well as this apparently, and then I will need to create the electric pistons. Okay, I just spent a moment looking at all these recipes and configuring them and encoding patterns for them, and those are right here, at least for these 4 things, and it seems as though we're going to need 2 assembling machines. I thought I might be able to put it off for a little while, however, I don't think that's realistic. I think it's just going to be more annoying than it's worth. So I'm going to put together a second one, and I will do a little bit of pattern encoding while everything I need crafts up. And there it is, the second assembling machine, all up and running. If I grab a couple of these circuits and set one of them to 1 and 1 to 2, I think, so 1 is already on 1, set it to 2, and I throw it in this first input bus, we should be good to go. And now I have to actually check. Electric motor, LuV, conveyor, LuV. Conveyor uses 1. This is 1. Okay, looks like we're good. This is 2. This is 1. Anything that doesn't use a circuit can go in either of these. However, these very specific recipes, like the conveyors and the electric pistons, need to go in the very specific assembling machine. Also, remember earlier in the season, or I guess not, is this technically a season? Earlier in the playthrough, I said I'm not using the ME conduit cables. However, at this point, I kind of have to. It's just, I don't know, it's going to be worse to not use them, so I'm going to use them from place to place, but I don't want to overuse them, because I think there are some glitches where they get disconnected, which wouldn't really be easy to find in my base, so yeah. Okay, I believe I have everything set up properly, and I should be able to test my system with this. It's going to craft the recipe package, send it to where it needs to go, and craft the LuV thing, which it's going to go down here. I have it set to not export right now. What I'm doing down here is using item conduits. You can use these item conduits because they will preferentially not round robin items in the chest. It'll pull the entire stack before it sets another one. That's important because these things need to have all of their items together in one slot to get used. So if you use, say, this with the 15 extract speeds, it's going to pull a stack out at a time. It's going to pull one of these things out per time, so we should have no issues. However, that electric motor should end up, okay, it looks like it ended up right there, so that should be everything we need to craft it. I just need to, actually let me go ahead and disable this right here as well, because I want to make sure it works in the back end as well. Then I just need to enable that, and things should get sucked out into the assembling machine, and the machine should begin working. It's not going to work. I forgot something. I forgot to add in lubricant and soldering alloy. Let me grab 2 ender tanks. I'm going to use an ender tank on the the gray channel for soldering alloy. That should make perfect sense, and it should shove a bunch of soldering alloy in there. How much does this actually need? 4 ingots worth, it looks like. and it changes throughout, so, you know, this should be fine. It should be able to transfer fast enough. We should never really have any problems. I also already have an ender tank for lubricant, because I'm using that for my, if you remember, where is it? Come on. Oh, wow. Okay, those travel anchors are a little odd sometimes, and I can't get to where I'm going. Over here, I'm using these ender tanks to supply oxygen, biodiesel, and lubricant here to these guys, which are producing quite a bit of energy for me. However, it looks like, is that pink? Pink, white, pink? It looks like the correct answer is white, magenta. Okay, there we go. These two fluids right here are actually two of the fluids that will always be needed by both of them. And now that I'm thinking about it, I need to change this a little bit. As I was saying, these are the two fluids that are going to be needed by both machines, so what I'm going to do is... oh, it'll auto-pull. That's pretty good. So I'm going to supply them to both through the ender tank on the middle. The rest of my fluid input hatches are on the outside because I think I'm going to want to distinguish in between machines later on, but for now this should work just as well. And it will auto-output, but also it pulls anyways, so we should be good. And this machine is running. Okay, it's... not slow, but it is burning through our power. I think we just went to probably close to maximum power output for 30 seconds or so, but nonetheless, lots of power. However, we should be able to come over here and see an electric motor LuV. Okay, so let's go ahead and extract that into the system, and I should now be able to request an electric piston. So let's do that. I need 2 of these for the singularity compressor, so let's actually see how it works if I do 2. I have everything for it, let's go. While that's crafting, I also wanted to share that I set up a thing for yttrium barium cuprate. We were not making that before, and we need it for a lot of these things. They're in the wire form. It's used essentially only in the assembly line for like a couple of recipes, but we're gonna make a couple thousand of it and hopefully be good for the rest of the pack. Alright, our first piston is here. Let me go ahead and turn this extract on and hope everything works. Everything is getting extracted, the machine turns on, and it looks like everything is going to be quite alright. Okay, let's check. Are we going to get one of these pistons? Any day now. It should be coming in, and there it is. Perfect. So, is this a quest as well? No, it appears no. And now that those pistons are done, I should be able to quite easily... nope, apparently not. I need niobium titanium. And there we go, niobium titanium. Now, I know that was about 2 seconds for you guys. That was like 15 minutes. I had to set up 2 new blast furnaces, but we are getting niobium titanium, and eventually we'll backlog on niobium, because I didn't put level emitters on them. So, ooh, actually, I need to make a level emitter for the niobium titanium. I'll be back. Alright, there we go. Now the level emitter is fully set up and we're good. I will stop when I have 1,000 niobium titanium. That should be fine. Okay, so now this should work. I have the pistons crafted up, so it shouldn't take too long, and we will have a singularity compressor. And that was actually really quick. I guess the pistons are the hard part. I mean, that kind of makes sense. They took half an hour to set up entirely, so now I just need to use these couple of LuV energy guys to set up an LuV line. Alright, here is the LuV line. The LuV lines down here are going to stay normal color. The IV lines down here are going to get spray painted black. I kind of stopped spray painting things up there. Yeah, I got a little bit lazy. And also, I just want to get the creative tank. So, we're not going to worry about that. But yeah, that's how I'm going to color code this so I don't blow up my machines. And with a couple of recipes put in, we're now only 6 items away from being able to make the tier 5 rockets, or the tier 5 microminers, I guess. I already have it in here because, if you remember last time, I set up to tier 6 in my package crafters, just because they're all done in the elite crafting, so I just set them all up at the same time. Okay. So, let me tackle a couple of the other things in here. What should we do first? Probably the field generators. A bit more time has passed, and I believe we're ready to tackle the tier 5s entirely. Yep, as you can see, the start button is alive. I have cleared up everything, and we are now crafting, or able to craft, everything that we need to make the tier 5 microminers. The main issue was the soul binder right here. We're going to need to automate a couple of these. However, I found a pretty decent workaround to one of the main problems. This thing needs experience. What I'm doing is I'm giving it my solidified experience, which comes from my Enderman farm. If you don't remember, I have 65,000 of it in stock, and it's always building. If the solidified experience goes into a tank, it automatically turns into liquid experience, which is pretty awesome. I don't know why this interaction happens, but I'm pretty happy about it. And then I'm making the Ender IO tank pull from that side. Whenever it needs it, it'll pull experience, and I'm doing push-pull on the top, so it'll get the stuff from the interface and also export it directly back into the ME system, which is pretty sick. Also, with this, you don't really have to filter the extra, or you have to filter the insert here, because this thing can have any item in it, and I don't know if it'll try and pull the items that go into here. However, this thing is smart in insert, so it'll only take the things that it is able to use. So for that, you don't really have to worry about filtering it too much. However, let's go ahead and order a tier 5 microminer, and hopefully this thing will work. And there we are, our tier 5 microminer is finished. This thing uses the medium microverse projector, so we should be all good to go. So I can use a couple of different things for this one. I can do this to get some palladium, which is useful. Some uranium-238, I might think about using that. Blocks of ender pearls aren't actually that bad. That's like 1,000, no, it's like 600 ender pearls. That's not bad. Boron, useful, all that kind of stuff. But this is the one that I want to do. So let's take a moment and look at stabilized plutonium again, which means we're going to need to look at the fusion reactor, which I think I'm just about ready to do. I've done approximately all of the looking that I can do, and it appears as though nuclear craft is now no longer an optional step towards progression. So I set up these canning machines and the fluid canning machines, one with water, one with cryothium, because I'm going to need both of those types of coolers, and a normal canning machine, which should be fine. Let me put this guy on blocking mode so he doesn't mess stuff up, and everything else should be okay. I'll just throw them all on blocking mode. Now I think I found a reactor design that I want to use. Apparently it's a very popular one for Omnifactory. It's called the Breeder, and what we're going to do is we're going to set it up somewhere. I think I might set it up upstairs, and we will get into fission. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've tried my best. The problem is I'm out of tungsten. As it's kind of bouncing around, but I have a bunch of tungsten steel, a bunch of tungsten carbide. However, I am not producing enough, or I wasn't producing for a while, so I don't have any tungsten left over. This is how far I got on my fission controller, and oh, I guess the sound is back on. So now you can see this in person. Bam, bam, and the sound is still on. No, hold on. Now you can see this in person. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Never mind. So this is as far as I got in my fission reactor. I just need a couple hundred pieces of tungsten and I can finish it. However, that's not going to happen until tomorrow at the bare minimum. So I'm going to have to AFK overnight. So let's go ahead and pivot slightly and finish this episode off with something kind of fancy. Here is the processing recipe for the quantum processor mainframe. So if I just save it, and throw these, throw these guys metaphorically or slightly literally into the unpackagers, we should see a recipe for a quantum or a tier 7 circuit. Okay, we can make everything except for the HSSG frames and the improved nether stars. Let me throw recipes in for those guys. And now with those recipes in place, I can now order the tier 7 processors, my first ones. I'm going to order 2 of them because I need 2 of them to make the LuV assembling machine, which is my goal for the end of this episode. Turns out these gravity stars are incredibly slow to make, so maybe there is a reason. Or the quantum stars? Yeah, quantum stars. The gravity stars are the other things. The quantum stars are very slow to make. It turns out there might actually be a real reason why you'd use this recipe instead of just crafting the stuff yourself. And there it is, the first tier 7 circuit, and that should be a quest, and our second one should be popping in here at any moment as soon as the gravity star the quantum star finishes up. Can I see where you're at? It looks like you just finished actually, which means this should be running, and there, we just caught it and now it's done. Okay, perfect. So we have the 2 tier 7 processors, which means we can now make the advanced, or wait, what does it say? Advanced Assembling Machine 5, very wonderful. Advanced Assembling Machine, apparently I never put the recipe in. Alright, here we go, Advanced Assembling Machine 5. I want one of them. And it's just going to have to craft up all this stuff, and it looks like we're good to go. Let's check on our HSSG ingots. Okay, we're fine. However, I am going to need to make more of that stuff soon. This crafting is taking an obscenely long amount of time, mostly because the processing steps are too slow. The main culprit is these HSSG nuggets, which take forever in the MV lathes. So I think next time I'm going to upgrade my distributed systems to like Ivy or something, which should make them significantly faster. Maybe not the macerator. The macerator seems to be fine. The compressor definitely, lathe definitely, wire mill. Wire mill might stay too, but that will definitely need to happen. So let's see where we're at. Just a couple more, 22 more HSSG rounds, please. And here we go, last round, and it should shove the conveyor right in. Okay, it looks like it's in, and it should all be in here. Why is this not running? Okay, my mistake. You need styrene butadiene rubber, which is made from raw styrene butadiene, which is made from butadiene, styrene, and air, which is made from cracked light fuel, or electrolyzing that, or distilling cracked light fuel. It's a whole rabbit hole that I'm just simply, I guess I could make this one pretty simply. However, it's not a rabbit hole that I think I'm going to go down right now. I'm very sorry. But yeah, that's not going to happen. These guys will sit in here, and I will come back at the beginning of next episode, and we will make the styrene butadiene and shove it in there and make the conveyors and make the LuV assembling machine. But not right now. I need to go to bed. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like. Something like that. I don't know. Have fun. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.